Hey everyone, off the mic Sports Network here. Another edition of Brown's Thoughts. Listen, Myles Garrett has asked to be traded. This is not a shock, not a mystery. All this, talking about that maybe he was going to work it out, and he talked it out with management. Listen, this was not this. This was always going to be the end game for the Cleveland Browns and Myles Garrett, and it's best for both parties to just move on. Just move on. Browns, go get what you can. You could probably get at least a couple first round picks, see what else you can get, and maybe auction them off for something great, and just move on and start your rebuild. That's just the reality of this situation. So I've talked about it. Andrew Berry, huge problem here because he's the one who made some roster decisions that put the Browns in the predicament that they're in right now. But let's call this what it is. The Deshaun Watson trade itself and the subsequent contract is the direct reason why Myles Garrett is asking to leave. Direct reason, because look at the last 3 years. I think we're at 9. I think he's had 19 starts. Deshaun Watson is statistically the worst quarterback in the NFL since he went to the Cleveland Browns. The Browns don't have a quarterback, and they paid him $230 million fully guaranteed, and he still has 2 years left on his deal. Do you think Myles Garrett's going to want to stick around with that after what he's seen and killing himself and, getting the team back to the playoffs and winning Defensive Player of the Year without Deshaun Watson, with him hurt? And then you see what happens this year with him as a starter, and then they rotate through quarterbacks. They change the offense and cater to him in Deshaun Watson, and they go 3-14. Myles Garrett ain't going to hang around for that. So here's the reality of what we're looking at here with Deshaun Watson. This is the most damaging trade or transaction maybe in the history of sports because of look what is happening before your eyes. And if you're a Cleveland Browns fan, you may want to cover your ears because this is disheartening. The prime of Nick Chubb has been wasted. The kind of the prime of Denzel Ward, even though he's kind of the lesser, and Denzel Ward may want out of there too. I don't blame him. Joel Bitonio may retire. Prime of him is going to get wasted. Wyatt Teller, another prime player, is going to be wasted. And then you waste maybe one of the great defensive players of all time, and one of the best Browns of the last 25 years. You've wasted that, and look at where you are now. Nowhere. You're back to where you were when you sucked all those years for 8 years ago. Myles came into the league on a 1-15 team. First season, went 0-16. This team has supposedly been trying to incrementally get better, and they were thinking that they were going to make the move in getting Deshaun Watson, even though the signs were that this wasn't going to work. And I may have gotten fooled a little bit about it too. But you made that conscious decision, and this falls on Andrew Berry, this falls on Paul DePodesta, this falls on Jimmy Haslam. I don't know how much is on Kevin Stefanski, but he signed off on it, okay? But those people are culpable. But the number one culprit in this whole thing and what is resulting in this complete and utter teardown of the Cleveland Browns, because it's going to start with Myles Garrett. And if you think the Browns aren't going to trade him, you're crazy. The Browns can say all they want that they're not going to trade him. Trade him. Just trade him. But here's the thing. If you're the Browns, and before that, the biggest culprit is Deshaun Watson. This guy hoodwinked and bamboozled this organization and then went in and played like dog shit for less than 20 games over 3 seasons, and he is the direct reason why Myles Garrett, maybe one of the greatest players in the history of this franchise, wants to leave. So for that, Deshaun Watson, you could rot in hell. Go fuck yourself. I mean this. I am as serious as I could possibly be. That guy should never be welcome in the city of Cleveland ever again for what he has done. And I know he doesn't care because he's got his money. You are the direct reason why the Cleveland Browns are completely tearing down what could have been maybe the greatest run that this franchise maybe had ever seen. Because now it's not there. And thank you for – and also, just, you know what? Thanks for, making my football watching life the last 3 years fucking miserable. And now it gets even more miserable because here we are, week of the Super Bowl, and the Cleveland Browns are going to have to trade Myles Garrett because of Deshaun Watson. And if you're a Deshaun truther and you're still on the wrong side of history, you need to wake the fuck up. The evidence is already there that Deshaun Watson was the direct reason why this team struggled. It's the direct reason why Myles Garrett wants to leave. He sees what is going on the field. He knows that his efforts are not being complemented by a great offense. You are not getting anywhere in the NFL without a good quarterback. And to say a guy who everybody wanted and the Browns invested in and put so much time and effort in trying to make it work, it hasn't worked in 3 years. So Myles Garrett ain't going to stick around anymore. He's 29 years old. One of the best defensive players in the league. Already won a defensive player of the year. Outstanding season again for the Browns, even though they went 3-14. So fuck you, Deshaun Watson. Andrew Berry, you should get fired. Paul DePodesta needs to go. Like, we need to just rip the Band-Aid off, just start this whole thing over. Abdul Carter, if he is on the board at number 2, that is who you take. Move the fuck on. I don't even know if you want to consider taking a quarterback this year. Get picks. Trade it. Get as many first-round picks as you can. Just stockpile everything so you can be in position to rebuild this thing and get your quarterback maybe next year. Because I don't know if that quarterback is in the draft this year. So that's the big indication from this. But fuck Deshaun Watson. I've said it here multiple times on this channel. That guy has sunk this franchise. So thanks. And I mean that with the utmost of insincerity. All right. Anyway, I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.